My name is John Sage. I am the founder and CEO of Bridges to Life. Bridges to Life is a faith-based restorative justice program that goes into prisons and works with incarcerated men and women to rehabilitate them and give them a look at what crime does to people. In doing this, we have a lot of volunteers that are victims, and in utilizing their stories, it impacts them and helps develop some empathy. Bridges to Life was started out of a great tragedy in my life when in 1993 my sister Marilyn was brutally murdered by two individuals, and both of them subsequently were given death penalty sentences and went to death row. I went through a really tough time in the aftermath of her murder. I went through every emotion you can think of, from rage, anger, revenge, depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress, and it was a very difficult time. I went on a spiritual journey and got to a better place, but it took about 5 years. But I got to that better place and felt some freedom from these problems I had over the murder. I was asked to participate in a pilot program that brought in victims of crime and their families to meet with like offenders, not the offender. It was a first of a kind concept. Some people thought it was kind of crazy to think about bringing victims and offenders together and kind of a square peg in a round hole. But as we did that pilot, I saw something really amazing happen when these two groups get together and tell their stories and develop a better understanding of each other and come together as human beings. The primary thing it did for the inmates was develop some empathy and feeling about things and realize what they had done. And the unique thing about that program and our program now is that they have to admit what have done, admit their crime, and take responsibility for it, which is very unique in the prison system. We built a model and did some programs in 1998, starting it. To give you a baseline, we did 2 programs with 41 inmates that year, and we had about 10 volunteers. We progressed, and year by year, the prison system accepted it more. We progressed into a business model that now has 20 staff people on payroll, but we manage over 1,000 active volunteers in 110 different prisons. So it's become a very large system that we've built. We're probably the largest volunteer program in the state of Texas in the prisons. I've been very surprised by how large it became, and I've been very surprised at the impact on the volunteers. The impact on the inmates has a great significance for society in that it makes society safer. Our recidivism rate of those coming back is far less than the state or national rate. And if you can reduce the number coming back, it reduces the amount of crime in society. It also reduces greatly the amount of expense. It costs about $105,000 to reincarcerate an individual for an average term. We deliver our program for a cost of $200. And one of the reasons it's so low is that our volunteers give us 90,000 hours of service, which is worth well over $2 million in kind. So we manage volunteers, we manage prisons, and we break up into geographic regions all over Texas, and we have done some programs in 12 other states, but about 80% of our graduate productivity is in the state of Texas. We have graduated 53,000 inmates, both male and female, in our program since we started, and we're very pleased that these people are doing better than the average inmate, and we think we've changed lives. Our spiritual mission is to show both victims and inmates the transforming power of God's love and forgiveness, and that's at the heart of it. There's a lot more to it, but in this talk I have not time to explain. We're now in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, and we are working hard to reduce our cost and to be efficient. We want to be prudent, and we want to be proactive. We're trying to do as much as we can. The prisons are shut down, so our operations are minimal. We are going to make plans for the future, and we hope to be back in the prisons. We've made it through other virus situations in the prisons. We've made it through Harvey. We've made it through oil bust and different financial crises, and we know that we will work through this and be back active again in the near future. Thank you very much for allowing me to present.